A chat with Joe Singley.
Hello, guys. Thank you again for clicking on that link. Today I have Joe Singley. We're going to pick a little bit of his brain. Hey, Joe, how are you, man? Thank you for your
Doing
time.
well. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm excited. Hey, Joe, before we get into Coastal Carolina University program, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you this question that I usually ask my catchers. I want you to be honest, and I know you're going to be honest. How many times, I know you're a bullpen catcher and all that, how many times per day behind the plate do you usually get jammed?
Um, so much right now, not so much. Maybe one, if any. But that comes from a lot of small glove work, a lot of hand-eye coordination, a lot of pocket awareness. But I know most of our guys initially, especially with the whole new wave of catching balls, thumb down, working our way up through them. A lot of our guys initially, when they first started, got jammed on the thumb quite often.
Hey, Joe, let's talk a little bit about Coastal Carolina. Man, these guys, Alaska Avery, 108 ERA in 16 innings. Reese Maniscalco, 1.29 ERA in 7 innings. What's going on there? That's
Those guys
great.
Yeah, those guys can shove. Alaska is a submarine guy. He can get up to 91. And Reese is a grad transfer student we just got from Wofford. So we're very, very blessed to have those two arms on our staff.
Hey, how about the pregame meetings? Are you part of those? Catchers and pitchers. For example, we're gonna face this team today for the next 2 3 days. You guys go team wise, or you guys go batter by batter? Do you guys have like an analytics department?
Yes, we do. We go overall our program, or we have a plan overall, but it ultimately breaks down to each batter to batter, and then we'll break it down the count. If we get behind the count, what are we going to go to? If we get ahead in the count, and here we're blessed with a very in-depth analytic program, and we're blessed with Rapsodo and Hit Tracks, and we have a lot of different tools that we can use to get an advantage in the scouting area.
Hey, Joe, you are a bullpen catcher for Coastal Carolina. How do you become a bullpen catcher? You look young, man.
Yeah, well, how that started was I was a student athlete at Tulane University. I graduated high school in 2016, and my coach was transferred. So my coach was transferred. I decided to transfer too. I went to a junior college called Indian River State College in Florida. I got 2 shoulder surgeries there. I worked my way back to health. So then I came to Coastal. And as soon as I got to Coastal, I got 2 collarbone reconstructions. So when I got that done, when I finally started to rehab again, when I got finally to where I could play, my dad got cancer. So when my dad got cancer, I dropped out for a semester, went home to take care of him. He unfortunately passed away, and I'm currently ineligible to play anymore. So I decided to help out. I'm labeled as a bullpen catcher, but I'm student assistant. So I'm blessed to be able to work with our hitters and our catchers here at Coastal.
Hey, Joe, you teach a particular way to receive and frame a pitch. Some guys they teach target, drop a little, and work from the bottom up. But yours more like you go from here, from your right knee, all the way
Right.
to the center, catch, and frame. Can you explain a little bit of that now that you have your mitt in your hand?
Yes. Well, I teach multiple ways. I like our guys to have multiple weapons, I call it, in their arsenal, so they can do whatever they feel comfortable. Some guys, we have a kid named Hunter Ashburn. He's got shorter arms. He likes to hold his mitt like this and go here. We've got a kid, Tanner Garrison, and BT Riopel. They have longer arms. So they like to flash their target. They like to load towards the inseam of their right foot or left foot, depending on which pitch is being called, but it's just subtle. I mean, in practice, we exaggerate the load a little more, but in game, it's subtle. So if I'm calling a right-handed slider, right-handed pitcher, obviously I might angle a little more, and I might flash my target, and I might shade a little towards the right side, expecting that shape, so I can work my way back towards the plate.
So how do you find that particular way? I would say particular way because it's different than other catching coaches out there. I mean, I bet it was after receiving practice and all that, and you were like, okay, this way works better for me, and it's gonna work for other guys too.
Right. Well, initially born right outside of Philadelphia, so um, I'm very close with a lot of those guys, and I love watching JT Realmuto. So for me, JT Realmuto was a big influence on my catching game, and also a name Jake Rogers. He went to Tulane University as well. Jake's influence on me on presenting the ball, whether it be extension deflection, reaching out, extending, pulling the ball, or working through it. Jake and JT are two huge influences on the way I teach and how I learn. They got my brain got the wheels spinning.
Hey, Joe, when you talk to your catchers beside receiving and framing, can you tell us like 2 or 3 more elements that you guys focus more on, like during the game? Like, okay, we got catching and receiving and framing. Now, I want you also pay attention on these part of the game too, behind the home plate.
Well, my main focus, I tell the guys that our number one goal out there is to make that guy on the mound better. So part of that, obviously, is receiving. This is, maybe 2 or 3 guys at most will steal a game probably in our league, and will probably catch on average maybe 200 to 300 pitches a game. So those pitches, that's crucial. That can change an at-bat, an inning, and ultimately a game. So I want them to make the pitcher on the mound better, and I want them to present each pitch as accurately as possible, if not better, but also just overall take charge of the game. The pitcher's attitude, the infield's attitude, whether a guy boots the ball, and being aware, having an awareness, having a feel, backing up every base, making every play we can, and ultimately just trying to find outs. Just create outs, find outs, and prevent runs.
Hey, Joe, I've seen some games, some college games where the pitcher now has the wristband, checking the signs coming from the dugout. Do you have some? Can you give us some thoughts about that new thing out there? Are you okay with that, or you like it?
I don't know. We haven't done it yet, so I'm indifferent. I don't really have an opinion on it, but I know that pace of play for us is huge. So we have, I think a lot of guys in the SEC do it. My friends at South Carolina, 2 catchers there, they have an earpiece. So our coach will relay the sign, and the catcher will have an earpiece in, and then we'll be able to put down the sign to relay it to the pitcher. So pace of play is huge for momentum, especially Reese. Reese is a guy that likes to work very fast. So that's huge versus having, flashing a number and the catcher have to look at it, the pitcher have to look at it. That slows everything down. That can kind of kill the momentum.
Right. Hey, Joe, I've seen you have like probably like 2 more Instagram accounts out there, and one is where you show your workouts. Man, you lift pretty heavy. Do you recommend that for a catcher? Get strong and big. Is that something that you would recommend to a 14, 15 years old catcher?
I think each kid's different in their own way, but I don't think if you can stay flexible, I think as long as you can get stronger, I think that'll never hurt. I started posting all that as motivation. Obviously, been through 5 surgeries now, so that kind of motivation will come back. I started Singley Strong. It's a foundation for cancer families and cancer patients after my dad, so I kind of started posting things on there as motivation. But in the off season, I think it's very good to get as strong as you possibly can. But in season, we still work out to maintain, but not so much to build. Because we still have to stay flexible, limber, and can't be sore and tight throwing balls into left field when guys are stealing third when it matters.
All right, Joe. Where do you see yourself in 2, 3 years from now?
Hopefully, making an impact on someone's life, someone's career somewhere, whether that be coaching in college or hopefully being a catching coordinator somewhere, or I don't know, just kind of taking it day by day. We'll see where the Lord takes me.
How old are you, Joe? 22, 23?
23.
23. Joe, look, I have some questions from my followers. You ready for? I mean, they're good questions.
Sweet.
Let's do it. Number 1, it comes from Josh Betancourt, Kingsville, Texas. And what consists your catcher's pregame work?
Awesome. Our pregame work. So first thing we do is I'll have the catchers get loose. We'll do a series of agility work, lateral movement, shin slides, block pops. So a series to get their body loosened up, their arm loosened up, and then we'll go through a weighted receiving system. So bare hand, weight on the wrist, and a band. Then we'll take the band off, take the wrist off. We'll go through that, and then we'll go through receiving on a machine From there, we'll go through blocks. We'll do a blocking series, which I'll post on my catching Instagram. I'll show you guys that. And then we'll go through some transfers, and then I'll throw with the guys. We'll long toss a little, get them loose. And then after that, we'll catch the pitcher, and they'll head on behind the plate.
Great. Second question comes from Jenny White, from Denver, Colorado. I'm a 12 years old catcher, and I would like to know if you work with softball catchers. If so, what you guys work on?
Yes, I have had the opportunity to work with a few catchers here, and had a few other big name softball catchers and coaches follow me. I think the University of Florida's coach for softball followed me, so that was pretty cool. So I'm trying to expand my knowledge as much as I can for that. Obviously, the ball comes in at a different angle in softball, but I've worked with the catchers here on receiving, just some different things. I know the softball game has a little more head movement, but just on getting behind the ball, catching it with momentum towards the plate, not getting our glove knocked back, and working on some different arm action things and just some mental cues in the game. But softball is an area that I would love to expand on for sure.
Hey, Joe, this one comes from Angel Garcia, Kansas. Thoughts on coaches, players minimizing throws downs numbers?
Minimizing it.
Yeah, when they put like 185 throws down to second base, when in reality, they don't look like it.
Yeah, well, I think for me personally, when I was in high school, everybody talked about the pop time, the pop time, the pop time. But nowadays, the pop time is the last thing you look at because, like you said, the numbers they're normally fixed, most of the time, and our main priority isn't really throwing the guy out anymore. But realistically, our guys, if they can throw anywhere around a 2-0 on the bag, we'll take that.
Joe, one more question comes from Greg Zamora, Arizona. Do you have a recovery throwing programs for catchers? And how many times per week your college catchers throw to bases?
Great question. I think ultimately that comes down to individually, how well your body can take throwing. But for me personally, and two other of our catchers, we like to long toss at least 2 to 3 times a week, and we like to throw every day. If our arm is really sore and we just worked out pretty heavy, we like to at least just toss 60 to 90 feet, anywhere to get that blood flowing and loosen up our shoulder. But throwing the bags in season, I'd probably say also 2 to 3 times a week. I'd say every time we long toss, we finish up on the field and we throw the bags.
Joe, what do you have right there behind you? Is that a trophy?
This is the national championship from 2016.
2016. Were you there when you guys won that?
I was not, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll get back there.
How you guys see? What do you think about your team this year? I have right here. You guys are 14-9 and 1-2. This is good. I mean, good numbers.
Yeah, not bad, but not the promising thing is we haven't played to our full potential yet. We've got a lot of young guys, a lot of different moving pieces, a lot of injuries. So 14-9, and we haven't played anywhere near our capability yet. So that gives us a little bit of outlook. We're going to have our work cut out in front of us, but I think we have one of the best coaching staffs in the nation, so we are very well prepared.
Hey, Coach Singley, something else that you want to add before we go?
Never give up. I went from a little short, chubby kid in high school to, having 5 different surgeries and coming back from all of them. And, I'm in a pretty blessed and a pretty nice position here. So, guys, never give up on your dreams. Never give up on your family and your friends. And just keep working. Keep working hard and keep saying your prayers, and everything will fall in place.
Joe, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Something else, a cool, great message that you want to give to the catcher community out there. We have sometimes those guys that they try to block and then they miss a block or the throws down. And, I have those 13U guys, 14U, 15U. I'm like, hey, easy, go back there this week. Let's work,
Right. Never stop working, and never let the pitch before you prevent you from doing something on this pitch. I think you got to be ready. Each pitch is a different pitch. Whether you first pitch before that, miss a block, or you threw it in the center field, you got to have a short memory in this game, or else the game will eat you alive.
Joe, thank you very much for your time, and you guys, thank you. I will come back next week with more catcher guesses here at my YouTube channel. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much.